That sun is so bright. But yeah, that clematis is trying to show out a little bit. Looks pretty. So I've added a couple more raised beds. I've got I've got 3 more in the living room to put together. Good morning, everyone. This is Mickey. Welcome back to Hills Mill Homestead. Pour yourself another cup of coffee. We're going to take a tour of my electroculture garden and see how well it's growing. And let me know how well your garden is growing. My goodness, folks, this year's weather has just been unpredictable, I should say the least. I remember in 2010, I had a garden, and I actually have pictures of it, that I planted it around March, probably the middle of March. And I planted this year some tomatoes, along with all of my brassicas and lettuce and all the other things that I have planted, garlic and carrots and all that. But I planted some early girl tomatoes. So I'm gonna bring you along and we're gonna check out the garden. And I'm gonna show you some baseball sized tomatoes. And here it is, the first week of May. Normally, I always have ripe tomatoes before the 4th of July. This year, I'm gonna have ripe tomatoes the 2nd week of June. I'll mark that on the calendar and we'll see if that comes true. But so far, my garden is really doing well. Last night we had 38 degrees. My goodness, I was sweating. Thank the good Lord that we didn't have any frost. I'm really grateful for that. But I want to grab the camera real quick. So I've got different succession of tomatoes, but I'm going to show you the early girls. I'm going to show you that I'm already picking peppers. So let me grab the camera and we'll take a look. Well, let's take a look. Man, my clematis, that one is really growing good this spring, I should say. It's already bloomed once and it looks like it's going to bloom again. But as you can see, I've added container gardens this year. And that has worked out a lot better than what I had. So I'm going to give you a little tour and I want to show you. It's hard to see in the sunshine, but I want to show you if we got some peppers to pick. Where's it at? There it is. Look at that pepper. These are sweet cayenne. Thank you to a longtime viewer, Mr. Lawson. He contacted me not long ago and wanted to know if him and his wife, they had visited here before, but he wanted to bring me some pepper plants. And this is what he brought, some of them. And those are sweet cayenne. Those are really good. And you can see that I've also got more radishes. I succession planted the radishes in here with the peppers. And then I've also got coming up some beans, some pole beans that I'm going to let them trellis or let them follow the fence as their trellis. So I have them planted all on the back side of all of these beds with the peppers. But those radishes are really coming on now. My goodness, whew. They're saying that we're going to have warm weather in the next few days. But I'm going to tell you, I sure hope that our cold weather is over with. My goodness. This is the first week of May and it's still getting below 40 at night. But anyway, here's some, let's see. Now, leave me a comment if you've ever planted these. These are called mini bells or snacker peppers. I've never grown any of them, but they're supposed to be like tiny bell peppers. But if you've grown some of those, let me know how it worked out. Leave me a comment. And I'm going to say this, goodness, I just really appreciate all of you folks that send comments and a lot of questions as well. But, and your encouragement, man, I really appreciate all of your encouragement that you tell in your messages and emails. And I just want to say I really appreciate that. So here we are at the end of my 4th metal raised bed. And let's see if I can get over here where those tomatoes are at. Let's see. All right, so there are what I call my baseball sized tomatoes. I believe that top one is a little bit bigger than a baseball, but I've got 4 plants. And here's the next set of tomatoes that's coming on. And then I see a next set coming on. Let's see about this one over here. Yep, that's what I call baseball-sized tomatoes. Hope you can see that. The sun is all over my camera. Looks like I see some aphids down at the stalk. Yeah. And that's one reason that we want to try to keep all the foliage. Once these things get their second tier of blooms, you want to come in and remove the foliage, probably the first 3 to 4 limbs on the bottom, to keep some good airflow going, because that's exactly what will happen, is those aphids will find a place to hide, and you won't see them until you get down there and start working on the bottom of them, just like I just found those aphids. Well, that sun is so bright this morning, it's hard to even see where I'm looking through this camera, so hope it works out. You can see that I've got some sugar peas. They are finally growing. I thought it was going to be so hot that they wouldn't do anything, but I do see some blooms. So maybe I'll get to harvest a couple of messes off of them. I hope so. My marigolds, they are showing out. You know, marigolds are great for your nematodes. You have good and bad nematodes. The marigolds are just a good pest deterrent. And so I always try to incorporate some marigolds with everything that I do plant. All right, let's go take a look at my other garden as well. One thing is for sure, I certainly love my raised beds that I've made here for my garden. It makes it so much easier to be able to keep the little weeds pulled out, harvest what I need. Now, I've got cucumbers. Let's see if you can see that. I've got cucumbers planted to grow on this trellis. I have picked so much lettuce and had so many salads. It is just, I tell you, if you've not grown your own salad, you should try it, because it is just delicious. It's not nothing like you will buy in the store. Now you see the little white moth? Let's see if we can get in on him before it flies. That dude right there is probably the culprit of some of the pests. I found some on my cauliflower, some of those little worms, and that's probably where it's coming from. But radishes, my goodness, let's look at some radishes. Let's just, let's pick that one. What do you think? Let's see if I can get in the camera. Where you at? There you are. What about that radish? I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again. Most nutritionists will tell you that radishes are very, very nutritious for you. You should eat radishes every day. Better not forget that. I need to wash that and put it in the fridge. Butter crunch lettuce, red romaine, green romaine, salanova, a little bit of a mixture of all of it, but my goodness, it is just absolutely delicious. Now, Mr. Lawson brought me some grow bags along with the pepper plants, and I run out of room for the rest of these peppers, so I use these grow bags. And I have never grown anything in these grow bags. He said he had great success. So we're gonna see how this works out. If you've used these grow bags, let me know. Let me know if there's something that I need to do that I'm not aware of to try to make everything produce like I want it to, like it should. But you can see I've got my Electroculture in each one of them. So yes, this is my Electroculture gardening. Let's take a look at the other garden. So this is my early garden. I put out the onions in about the second week of February. I planted the carrots in November, and I planted the garlic in November. So let's take a look and see how things are growing. And this is what I call my first raised bed, the very first original one that once I built this place and got everything going, this is my first raised bed that I actually built. Those carrots are showing out. Goodness, I have picked some delicious carrots. I've got some orange and white. And my broccoli, look at that broccoli. That's looking good. I'm about ready. Looks like there's a couple of heads I can go ahead and harvest. That's really looking good. Finally, I wasn't even certain I was going to have any broccoli with the 80 degrees temperatures we've had. And the garlic. Now look at that garlic. This is music garlic, and then the other half of the bed is the elephant garlic. Now this one, I don't know what it is. It's an oddball that came with the garlic, but look how big that dude is. It's actually a double. And this thing is 48 inches tall, 47 actually. These back here are going to seed, the elephant garlic, and these are the ones that's 48 inches tall. Let me know if your garlic gets this tall. I'm not sure if I've seen very many garlic beds with 4-foot garlic. I may be doing something wrong, or I'm not sure. Let me know. I haven't grown garlic very many times. There's my asparagus. I'm gonna harvest it today too. My marigolds. So I've got a succession planting of my onions, and I see that the first set, you can tell the difference, but it looks like the first set is actually starting to bulb. I've got a few weeds I need to get out here and pull. But overall, oh my goodness, please Lord, don't let it frost or freeze. Overall, I think my garden is growing pretty good, especially for the first week of May. And so I just hope that it continues and have a good harvest. We've been in a long time drought for months and months, and we did finally get some rain a couple of days ago, and that really helped. But hopefully it's not gonna frost anymore. Here's a couple of more raised beds that I've got put together. And this is over in a different area that I'm constantly working on. I'll be glad when I can show it to everyone, but I'm waiting till I completely get finished with everything that I want to do. These are some nice tomatoes in this raised bed, metal raised bed, I should say. Now, I've also got a link in the description if you want to check out Vago Gardening. They have so many products, and if you use my link, you can get a 10% discount. But these tomatoes are doing really well also. Yes, those tomatoes are really looking good. I actually have 2 more clematis that I planted. This one looks like it's struggling just a little bit, but I've got it up on a trellis, arch trellis. And so I'm hoping that they're going to grow on up, at least cover half of it. Now this one is doing a lot better. It is blooming. So at least I'm grateful for that. So I had this idea about using these steel wheels as a trellis for clematis. So I've got 2 more last time I went to the Mennonites. This one is red, and I'm hoping that it's going to fill out this metal wheel. Now I used chicken wire for it to be able to climb on, and I'm hoping that's going to be okay. Let me know if you've done this before with chicken wire and a clematis, because I'm just not certain that the blooms are going to be able to get through each little hole like it needs to. But we'll see. Uh-oh, there goes Kramer. So I've also got one on this side. There we go. So I'm hoping it'll fill in the metal wheel also. So we'll see. I think they'll look a lot better than what was there before. Well, we have seen my garden, my Electroculture, my first raised bed garden, and my other one. We've also taken a look at my metal raised beds and how everything's growing. I think it's doing pretty well for this time of the year, it being the first week of May. Normally, I don't have tomato plants and pepper plants is doing as well as they are, but so far so good. I really appreciate everyone that sends me some comments and questions about Electroculture. And as you know, I try to answer every question. A lot of times there's some pretty lengthy emails, and I try to keep things as simple as possible. If you've not tried Electroculture, it's not some sort of magic that's going to help your plants. It's just going to boost what's already in your soil. If you've got poor soil, you're probably not going to see a lot of benefits from Electroculture. But if you continue to work on your soil year after year like we do as gardeners, it's always going to improve, and the more that your soil improves, the more it becomes alive. The Electroculture is going to assist everything that's already in the soil. If you're interested in Electroculture, now I do have a video how you can make your own. Detail instructions, every detail about the antenna if you want to make your own. But if you want to purchase an antenna, you can visit my website at hillsmill.com, and you can purchase the garden Electroculture antenna or the orchard antenna. That'll be the next video. My orchard is just really doing well. My peach trees were blooming, and it came another freeze right when they were blooming, and I just assumed that I won't have any peaches this year. But I've been inspecting and working on the orchard, and I'll share it with you in the next video. But my peach trees are loaded. My apple trees are loaded. Everything in the orchard is doing good, and so I'm gonna let you see that in the next video. As far as electroculture, a lot of you guys send me constantly when there's a new video about electroculture that comes out. There are several of you that send those links to me, and if I have the time, I usually try to check them out. I'll tell you what I don't do. I don't like to watch videos of people talking about electroculture and they don't even grow a garden. That's not me. I'm gonna tell you everything I know about electroculture. I'm gonna show you how I use it, different methods in my gardens, and you know, the results speak for themselves. I don't use any fertilizer, no chemical fertilizer. Everything is natural. Rabbit manure, my compost, chicken manure. I have a compost bin where any of my table scraps that are good for the compost, I continue to put them in there. And when it comes to the videos, I just learned, I thought this was different. So a subscriber sent me an email with a link to another video from France. And the gentleman, he uses a lot of electroculture, and he has a lot of videos on electroculture. And I happened to look at one of his videos and it had mentioned me. And I thought that was pretty neat. I'm really glad that more and more people are becoming more familiar with electroculture and, you know, trying to use it in their gardens and their orchard. But anyway, you know, I've been told that I have a lot of stories to tell. And in a way, that's true. I don't see myself as a good storyteller. But anyway, back to my story. So in his video, he says, if you'll Google Mickey coil, you'll learn all about electroculture. And I thought, well, my goodness. I just happened to Google Mickey coil, and it's true. My videos, my YouTube channel and all that information becomes available through Google that way. But I tell you, I do enjoy the videos that people are using using electroculture in the garden. For example, a lot of you know Mr. Danny and Miss Wanda, Deep South Homestead at Pecan Grove. They use a lot of electroculture in the things that they're doing. And if you're not subscribed to their channel, check them out. They have some great videos. I'll tell you another young man that I've recently, in I don't know, the last year and a half, I've watched his videos, and he does a lot of electroculture in his gardens as well. But Butler Farm, Mr. James over at Butler Farms, y'all check him out. Go over and subscribe to his channel and tell him Mickey sent you. But good Christian family, and he has some good gardens, and he's always experimenting with electroculture as well. But that's mainly if I see someone that's using electroculture in the gardens, now I'll spend the time to watch their video. Other than that, I think that, you know, there's nothing wrong with people talking about electroculture, but I like to see it. I like to touch it. I want to feel it. That butter crunch lettuce right there, I've already talked about it. Y'all know what I think. It's the most delicious salads that you can actually eat. But thank you for stopping by, spending a few minutes with me in my electroculture gardens, both my raised beds and my metal raised beds. I really do appreciate you spending your time. Time is valuable, folks. That's the most valuable thing we have, is time. Spend it wisely. Sometimes I feel like I am living the dream. Now, doing all of this by myself, it is hard to do, but I don't really consider it work because I love growing. I love growing flowers. I love trying to be more self-sustainable, grow as much food as possible. And each year And as you've noticed, if you've watched my videos in the past, and I do appreciate all of my subscribers, but I continue to build places to grow more food. And you know, up in the orchard area, I've got a 70-foot row of potatoes. We'll take a look at it in the next video. But that is my plan. I have pear trees. I have 6 off under the hill. I think I'm up to 14 or 15 apple trees. And I'm thinking about 6 to 7 peach trees. I've got the brown turkey figs, mulberry. I'm looking for a Pakistani mulberry. If any of you guys have any Pakistani mulberries, I need one really bad for a pollinator for the one that I have. Also, another thing, for this project that I'm working on, that I'm going to share with everybody here as soon as possible, I have a helper coming once every Saturday, so it's a slow progress, but I'm still moving forward with it. But if anyone out there knows where I can find a gasoline utility engine, preferably a international, about a 27 to 30, 35 horse utility engine, not a tractor. I'm trying to go with a utility engine instead of actually having to buy another tractor. But if anyone out there has any information, please send it to me. That's one of the main things that I need for the next project that I'm working on. And then after I get the engine, I'll be ready to proceed with what I'm trying to do. But thank you for spending a few minutes with me. I hope your coffee was good. It's such a beautiful morning out here. And again, folks, I am living the dream. And I hope that each and every one of you can maintain the dream you have, keep dreaming, and follow your dreams. Sometimes they're going to change throughout life, but that's life. That's just the way it is. You got to make the best out of every situation that you can. Enough of that. I've got more chores to do. I've got more work to do. But I hope you enjoyed my garden, and I will see you on the next video. And thank you for watching.